I'm taking a cruise on the iconic Aegean Sea to learn about the Minoan civilization. This cruise is dedicated to the Greek mythology to learn about the amazing, thriving civilization named after King Minoan. Welcome to GlobeTrotter. I'm Jon Haggins. I'm here for a great holiday on the Aegean Sea, and this is a Greek cultural experience because we're going to all the wonderful islands. This is the Celestyal cruises on Olympia, and this is where you can come. It's a medium-sized ship. You feel very personalized because everybody here is like your friend. This is where you want to come. And you know what I also love? They have bathtubs in the suites. That's unusual for a cruise. The suites are very large. The accommodations are just perfect. I can't wait to go to all these wonderful Greek islands, especially for this incredible Greek heritage.
My name is Captain Yannis Foundoukas, and I am the captain of Celestyal Olympia. I'm captain the last 16 years, and this itinerary we're doing now is the most popular and favorite itinerary for our guests. Our passengers are international. We have Japanese, Chinese, Turkish, Greeks, Americans, many Americans, Europeans. At this time we are about 26 nationalities. I've been captain for 16 years. A traditional classic cruise ship built in 1981. We have the chance to talk with the passengers.
I have a nice surprise for you. I have a waiter named Ronnie. Maybe I didn't treat you as good as I should have. Maybe I didn't love you quite as often as I could have.
As a hotel manager, I'm responsible for all the operation, cabins, housekeeping, restaurant, bars. Actually, our project, we like to give the Greek authentic on the cruise. We used to have many menus regarding the Greek food, but we try to adjust our menus with the other nationality also, to fit with the other nationality. With some adjustment, we can make it, we have the Greek taste, but in the way that the American eat meat. The entertainment we have on board for the 3 days, we give them every night one different show.
This itinerary includes some Greek islands and Turkey. We start from Piraeus, we go to Mykonos, Kusadasi, Turkey, Patmos Island, the Holy Island, Rhodos, the Island of Knights.
You know, Mykonos is one of the places that I've wanted to come since the 1960s. It's an extraordinary vacation destination here in Greece. It's an island that's so very special. It's where the rich and famous come. And it's a playground for the rich and famous. I guess that's the best way to describe it. You will see these wonderful windmills and these beautiful houses, and the little Venice here in Mykonos is just extraordinary. You're going to love it.
My name is Irene, and I'm an official tour guide. Tell you now about the windmills of Mykonos, the famous windmills. The especially windy weather on the Cyclades Islands favored the operation of windmills for grinding cereals. In the early 20th century on Mykonos, there were about 28 windmills in operation, a large number for such a small place. Why? Because the windmills supplied with flour the local bakeries which baked large quantities of bread and rusk and sold them to the passing by commercial ships which dropped anchor here for this reason, because in those days Mykonos was found at the crossroads of sea routes between east and west, north and south. When I say rusk, I mean raised bread. I repeat, raised bread baked twice in the oven to become dry and last for a long time.
What a spectacular, colorful sunset in Mykonos. You know, Mykonos is the island of love. We're off to Santorini Island, where the town sits high on the mountaintops. Greece also has many luxurious ferries to escort everyone from one island to another. The Santorini buildings are refreshingly white. They're accented with turquoise dome roofs. Greek Orthodox is the national religion, and there are a number of churches throughout the island. Santorini boasts the most magical and beautiful white stone structures that are crusted along the side of the mountain. There are many shops on the island where you can purchase local products. And of course, the restaurants where you can dine on the best Greek cuisine. There are a number of restaurants and bars from where you can watch the most scintillating sunset. We're heading to Crete to visit Heracleion. A large 16th century fort stands at the end of the town. Crete is the largest Greek island, and it's a real bustling metropolis. The famous walls of Heracleion still remind us of its past. Heracleion is the largest urban center in Crete, the capital of the region and the economic center of the island. The first European civilization, the Minoan civilization, flourished on this land 5,000 years ago. Seafood is a specialty of the island. You know, florals are scattered throughout the island. Knossos is the ancient Minoan palace. The Palace of Knossos is located in north-central Crete. Knossos was the first and the oldest Neolithic site in Crete, and the first indication of human activity on the island. Knossos is the largest bronze archaeological site on Crete and is considered Europe's oldest city. The name Knossos survives from the ancient Greek references to the major city of Crete. The identification of Knossos with the Bronze Age site is supported by tradition and by the Roman koans that were scattered over the fields surrounding the pre-excavation site. The site was discovered in 1878 by Minos Calerinus. The excavations of Knossos began in the year 1900 by the English archaeologist Sir Arthur Evans and his team, of course, and they continued for 35 years. The palace was excavated and partially restored under the direction of Arthur Evans in the earliest years of the 20th century. Its size far exceeds original expectations. An approximate graphic view of some aspects of Cretan life in the Bronze Age is provided by the restoration of the palace indoors and outdoor murals. The Palace of Knossos was undoubtedly the ceremonial and political center of the Minoan civilization and culture. It appears as a maze of workrooms, living spaces, and storerooms close to the central square. The palace was abandoned at some unknown time at the end of the late Bronze Age.
My name is Susanne Vasilakis. I'm the guide here in Patmos, and everybody in Patmos calls me Susie. You can hear on my accent I'm not Greek, I'm from Germany. My husband is a Greek part in my family. He is from Patmos. We met each other 36 years ago on a cruise ship, and now we live here on this wonderful island. We are 34 years married, and we have one daughter, she's called Sophia, and 20 years old. And now I will show you the wonderful island Patmos. Here in front of us, all this in front, that's all Patmos. Patmos has 34 square kilometers, but the coastline is more as 68 kilometers. That means we have a lot of caps and bays around the island. You can see it from here. So also here on Patmos, we have wonderful beaches for the people, they spend the summer holiday here. About our towns, our main towns, we have 3 main towns here in Patmos. The biggest town is the port town Skala. In Skala we have all kinds of shops, all the facilities are there. The bank, the post, the pharmacy, the most of the souvenir shops, the Greek cafe neons, and the most of the restaurants. In Skala we have about 1,600 inhabitants. Exactly in front of us, between the hills, the few houses we can see, this is the smallest town, Kambos. In Kambos we have about 600 inhabitants, and we are now here standing in the capital town in Kora with about 800 inhabitants. So in all Patmos we have about 3,000 inhabitants. The main source of income in Patmos is tourism. Now about the islands around us. To the left side we have the big island Ikaria. Maybe you know about Icarus. He came too close to the sun and he falls down in the sea. The island Ikaria. Behind Kambos, the high mountain that we see, is the island Samos. And to the right side, sometimes we can also see the mainland from Turkey. Patmos is an island very close to the mainland from Turkey, but Patmos is a Greek island. Okay, now we are going up to the monastery of St. John that is built in the year 1088. In the Catholic Church, Easter this year we celebrate in the end of March. In the Orthodox Church, we celebrate Easter a few days ago on the 1st of May. And something special that here in Patmos, Patmos is declared as a holy island. So of course also Orthodox Easter is something special here on the island. And we have normally many guests. They are coming to Patmos to spend the holy island here. On the Holy Week, on Thursday, we celebrate here on the island the foot wash, the Last Supper, where Jesus washed the feet from the apostles. So there is a place here in Kora decorated with a tribune, with a lot of flowers and with palms. And then the abbot from the monastery, he symbolized Jesus, and he has 12 monks with him, the 12 apostles. And then they speak about the Last Supper, and on the end, Jesus washed the feet from the apostles. So this celebration we have here in Patmos. That's something special for the people here, and this is of course the reason that we have normally many guests here on the island for Orthodox Easter. We don't celebrate Easter always together. Normally after 4 years, Catholic Easter and Orthodox Easter are going together. The reason why we don't celebrate it together, we count with different calendars. We are in the Orthodox Church, we still count with a Julian calendar, and this is a separate from 13 days, a different. And this is that we are the longest distance between Catholic and Orthodox Easter can be 6 weeks. About 98% from all the Greek people, they are Greek Orthodox. In Patmos, I would say 100% from the Greek people here in Patmos are Greek Orthodox. In Patmos we have no other chapels and churches, no monasteries, only Greek Orthodox. Between Skala and Kora, on the halfway, we were by the Monastery of the Apocalypse. The Monastery of the Apocalypse is where we have the cave where St. John the Evangelist wrote the Revelation, the last book of the New Testament. We just were there, and on the halfway up here we are in Kora, and now we will go to visit the Monastery of St. John that was built in the year 1088. St. John the Evangelist, he was exiled here to Patmos in the year 95 AD. He stayed in a cave.
You know, Rhodes is magical. I'm so glad that I'm here for the second time, and this walled town is just so magical because people come here for the Grand Master's Palace. They get to shop, they get to dine on the best food in Greece. This is an extraordinary destination.
My name's Nicholas. I'm a licensed tour guide and archaeologist. We are in the middle of the inner court of the Palace of the Great Masters here in Rhodes. And we are going to have a tour inside the Palace of the Great Master to see the unique artifacts that are in exhibition here and the unique antiquities that were used after the restoration, during the restoration of the 1930s. The order of the knights that came to Rhodes were the Hospitaller Knights, Knights of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem. They came here after the end of the Crusades. Their main mission was to heal the wounded during the battles. They came to Rhodes. They stayed for more than 200 years and they built those very impressive buildings. The medieval town of Rhodes is a World Cultural Heritage Monument protected by UNESCO since 1988. The impressive thing about the medieval town of Rhodes is that it's a live city with more than 4,000 permanent inhabitants.
We are going to Kudasi to visit Epirus, Turkey. We're continuing our tour here in Turkey. This is fantastic. We're at Epirus, and this is an archaeological site that everybody's come to, and it's a great day. The sun is out. What could be better than that?
Welcome to Ephesus, to the best well-preserved ancient city in the entire country of Turkey. It's an ancient Greek and Roman city, and Greeks came here 3,000 years ago. That was right after the famous war dedicated to the city of Troy. I'm sure you're familiar with the Trojan War, with Helen of Troy, Achilles, Hector, Paris. In the end of the war, the Greeks were back in homeland Greece, and they noticed that homeland Greece was already invaded by the Dorians. So the legendary leader of the Greeks, Andronicus, he decided to settle somewhere else, build a new city for his people. So he immediately consulted with the oracle in Delphi. You know, that was customary to consult with the oracles before giving important decisions. And the oracles, they were always the women in history. So she advised him that he was going to build his new city where he was going to see fish, fire, and a wild boar at the same time at the same place. That was the prophecy. So he got his men, he sailed to this region, but after a long time of search, they failed to find those three things, so he gave up, desperately decided to go back to Greece. Who knows, maybe he told a crowd that Greece there was still better than no Greece here. So on the last day, he gave a feast for his men here, and fish, that was their meal, which was so fresh. So it jumped out of the pan and scattered the flames, where there was also a wild boar sleeping right behind the bushes, started running away. So they chased the boar, they killed it and settled there. So this is the legendary foundation of Ephesus by the Greek ancestors. And then time passed. In the 6th century BC, Lydians. My name is Emre Ateş. I'm a professional licensed guide in Turkey. We're in Ephesus, the best well-preserved ancient city in Turkey. Also listed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO last year. So since last year it's a World Heritage Site. Right behind me we have the fascinating facade of the Library of Celsus, considered to be the third biggest library of the then known world, right after the biggest one in Alexandria, the second one in today's Turkey, Pergamum, where they invented parchment, and this was the third one with 12,000 scrolls in it. It was double-walled to protect the scrolls from dampness and took totally 8 years of the restorators to put all those pieces back together right behind me. So it was like a huge jigsaw puzzle, 1970 through 1978, for 8 years. And what we see on the facade today is 70% original, only 30% with the new material. So we can consider this as a pretty successful reconstruction.
Athens is an amazing metropolis. The changing of the guard is a grand attraction in Athens. Changing of the guard in front of the tomb of the unknown soldier. The soldiers wear khaki kilts and tights and clogs with black pom-poms. Sunday is a traditional day where the marching band of soldiers arrive in white kilts, at 11 a.m. The guards trained for a year to concentrate and not move as tourists watch and take pictures. Changing of the guards takes place on the hour in Independence Square in front of the Parliament building. It's a free sightseeing experience. Each soldier stands guard for an hour at a stretch of 3 times every 48 hours. They work in pairs in order to perfect the coordination of their movement. Originally formed as the Royal Guard in 1868, I'm standing with a smile with a new friend. The Acropolis serves as a permanent sanctuary of the ancient city of Athens. The Erechtheion is the entrance to the Parthenon. The Parthenon was built between 447 and 432 BC. I love these Hellenistic statues in front of the Athena temple. They are so magnificent. Plaka is a popular destination in Athens where you'll find great shopping and dining experiences. Mediterranean cuisine is my very favorite. There are many rooftop bars and restaurants in Athens that offer the best views of the city and the Parthenon. There are Roman ruins under the Acropolis Museum. The new Acropolis Museum houses many artifacts reflecting Greece's history. The museum is a perfect place to learn about Greek history. Did you know that the British Museum still has a number of the most important Greek artifacts?
My name is Frosso Zaroulea. I am the PR manager for Celestyal Cruises. Celestyal Cruises is the only Greek home porting cruise operator. We operate in Greece, Turkey and Cuba. So we have 5 cruise ships. 3 are in the Aegean. 1 will be for the next year, the year round in Cuba. It's intensive destination oriented. So during the 4-day cruise, you can see 6 destinations. So it's approximately 2 Greek islands and Turkey per day. We have two types of cruises. We have the 3 and 4 days, which is the iconic destinations, meaning we are going to all the highlights of Aegean, like Santorini, Mykonos, Patmos, Rhodes, and in Turkey, Kuşadası. And we have also the idyllic itineraries during July and August, where we are trying to introduce to people, to passengers from all over the world, to hidden gems of Aegean that no other cruise lines can go actually because they don't have the port infrastructure like Milos, like Ios, like Samos, like Syros, like Kos. So we are trying every year to add new destinations in the Aegean because Aegean is our home water, so we know very well Aegean. Celestyal actually is a new brand because we want to focus in authenticity. That's why our new tagline is "Be different, feel the authentic." Our passengers to really feel the destination, to really immerse to the destination, to see the food, to see the wine, to see the culture, to see the entertainment, and of course to understand the Greek sense of philoxenia, mean the Greek name of hospitality. In Cuba also, our focus is authentic experience. So in Aegean we have Aegean cuisine, in Cuba we have Cuban cuisine. In Cuba, Celestyal Cruises is visiting 4 ports of call. So we are visiting Maria La Guardia, Havana, Cienfuegos and Santiago de Cuba. And we have as embarkation ports Havana and Montego Bay. Is the right size to visit these kind of destinations because they are small, they don't have big ports. So a vessel with 1,000 passengers can easily go there. So in our ships we are like United Nations. Okay, we have more than 140 nationalities.
University Boulevard in Athens has a collection of beautiful structures that reflect its history. You know, Greece is absolutely amazing. Life is amazing. I'm here in Athens, and Athens is unbelievable. Its history, the Parthenon, the theaters, the great history, the buildings. I mean, what else can you ask for? But what we were here for was really a cruise through the Aegean Sea, and it was just unbelievable. We visited 6 islands. We were also in Turkey. It is just the kind of trip of a lifetime. It's the kind of thing that you want to experience on this beautiful sea. It's very relaxing. The people were amazing. They were friendly. You felt like it was your family. The Celestyal Olympia is an amazing cruise. We had 4 nights on the Aegean Sea, and it was just fantastic, visiting 6 islands, and my favorite was Mykonos. Oh, I have wanted to go there for 60 years and I finally made it. Remember, my world is your world, so get up, get out, and travel! Until next week, I look forward to seeing you then. So long for now.